from the campus of Long Beach City College. It's the Long Beach City College Mini Grand Prix. Hi everybody, I'm Willie Padilla. For the 15th consecutive year, this will be another favorite prelude to the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Joining me as usual is Chuck McFerrin. And Chuck, this event really does have a tradition behind it now.
A long tradition. 15 years is a long time for something to last at a community college. It began with two of our faculty members, Bill Webb and Bob Sanders, built the cars themselves, recruited some students. It was a takeoff on one of the early Grand Prix. They twisted arms, got a few people out to watch, and now it's grown to maybe 32 teams or so. One of the biggest spring events that we have, student affairs on the campus.
Well, not only does the event now have a history, but some of the teams have begun to build a tradition. Just last year, Tong snapped JX's 3-year winning streak. So the clubs are really getting into it, Chuck.
Yeah, they really do. This requires a club to pull everything together. They need a car designer, a car builder. They need to find their racers. They need to develop a strategy. Early on, the service clubs, the men's and women's clubs dominated, but the independent clubs and the PCC clubs have gotten stronger through the years.
Well, all these teams have to get around a very difficult race course. And to give us a look at that course is our own Dan Reddington, who will be joining us from time to time with reports. Dan?
Thank you, Willie. I'm down here on the track. It's a beautiful day for a race. The race course seems to be in excellent condition. A couple of divots, but it's dry. The footing is firm, and I think we should have some pretty fast times today. I'm right at the first turn, which is narrow and sharp like it was last year. A little difference, though. Our second turn last year was a little wider, so they could take it at a higher speed, but not this year. They've narrowed both turns, so we should see some spills. In fact, we've already seen one spill. We have three crossover points this year as last year, where the racers have to combine ballet, gymnastics, and physical agility. And we've seen a couple of spills already, and we think that we should have some very, very fast times and a lot of excitement here today. We've got a good crowd on hand, and that's spurring the contestants on. Back to you, Willie.
Thank you very much, Dan. We're now ready for racing. We're going to start with the quarterfinals. It's ACGA against Esprit. ACJA, and that stands for the
Administration of Criminal Justice. Majors in police science. Esprit was buyed because of past history. Good changes.
Esprit in the pink, ACJA in the white and black. ACJA has the lead early on. Ooh. They go into the Esprit lane. That's going to cost them.
That could be protestable right there. Esprit's got a good protest. Esprit's also on that inside lane on the last turn. That's very crucial.
Esprit with a nice change, as does ACJA, but it's Esprit with the inside track. They're going to go on to victory in race number 1. ACJA finishes in second. Time out for the first quarterfinal in the men's division. This will match up Tilsman versus Network. Tilsman a winner in their first race with a time of 31.94. Network a winner in their first round race with a time of 36.03. So you have to give the advantage to the Tilsman going into this quarterfinal race.
Tilsman in the goal in the left lane. Men's Service Club, been around a long time at Long Beach City College.
Tilsman very smooth on the first change. However, they hit a hay bale. Passing them by goes the Network.
Network, one of the Christian clubs on campus, got their act together.
Nice turn by both teams. It's going to go down to sprints. Network has the lead. We're in front of the Tilsman. And Network with a surprise victory over the Tilsman.
Very fine race.
Back to the women's quarterfinals, TNT versus TNT2. So the clubs will match up against each other with a trip to the semifinals at stake. The winner of this race will match up against Esprit. Accident in the first change zone.
This is TNT1, and it's moving ahead.
TNT1 out front, TNT2 had a problem in that first change zone, hit a hay bale. That has slowed them down considerably, and it looks like TNT1, who had a better time in their first round race, looks like they're going to advance.
Looks to me like they put the one on the right team, Willie.
And TNT1 will advance with a victory over TNT2. They will face Esprit. matchup between teams from the same club is this one in the men's division, Tong versus Tong 2. And both teams extremely smooth.
Tong 1 on the inside lane right now. Outside lane, excuse me.
Tong 2 has the lead.
Two very good teams.
One has the inside track, cuts in front of 2. It'll be Tong 1 that'll earn the chance to advance to the semifinals. More quarterfinal action from the women's division, Entre Nous versus Entre Nous 2. Entre Nous 1 is on the left lane as you take a look. Entre Nous number 1 leading the race. Entre Nous 2 slowly but surely getting around the course.
Good leg speed on that one team.
One has a little bit of a problem with one of the hay bales, but they're still well out in front of Entre Nous 2.
Good jump turn there, good switch. The organizers put these two clubs against each other early in the race so they don't see each other in the finals. They eliminate each other somewhere early.
And once again, the number 1 team named by the club advances to the semifinals. So we have one of the teams ready for semifinal 2 in the women's division. Back to the quarterfinals for the men's division. It's time now for the International Student Club to go against Thor. Thor advanced with a forfeit victory over the Striving Artists. International Student Club, they won when the LDSSA team broke an axle. On the left lane is the International Student Club. Thor is on the right. Thor with a perfect change. Meanwhile, International Student Club falters.
Thor's got one of our football players out there, our wide receiver. Got good foot speed, coordination, that helps.
Thor, smooth as silk, making their way around the course. That's going to be in a good time as they become one of the better teams in the men's division. Thor advances into the semifinals. Take a look at some of the action, Chuck. This was a good race. Perfect first exchange by Thor.
I think we're going to have international students veer right into that hay bale, get a little air. That's tough. Great jump change there by Thor.
Time now for the final women's quarterfinal. The winner of this race will face Entre Nous. This is Karami versus the Striving Artists. The Striving Artists are in red and black on the right lane, and they've got the lead.
They fought a hard race to get into this division in an earlier race.
Had to come back against the Amigas. Both teams having some problems.
Karami's got some wheel problems, I think there, Willie. Their wheels are bowed out. That's an old car.
In fact, Karami's problems showed up in the first race in a victory over the Roadrunner Amigas. Meanwhile, the Striving Artists, a team that nearly forfeited their first round race, looks like they will advance to the semifinals.
Striving Artists are not going to be starving. Wait a minute, we get close here. Ah, they miss.
The Striving Artists will go on. They will win. They will advance to the semifinals, where they will face Entre Nous with a trip to the finals at stake. Crossing the finish line goes Karami. The final men's quarterfinal, the Amigos versus JX. JX, a team that had won 3 consecutive championships before being eliminated last year by the champion Tong team in the finals. Both teams bump in the first turn. The JX racers are a little bit upset, but they get back on their machine and they're back on track.
JX looks very strong. They had a very strong earlier race. Amigos is a good, strong team.
And JX, despite the bumping and grinding in turn number 1, they advance to the semifinals. So JX wins it with a victory over Amigos, and they will advance to phase 4. Well, before we get to the semifinals in the women's and men's division, let's go down to the field and talk to Dan Reddington.
Willie and Chuck, I'm down here at the finish line, and thank goodness for these hay bales. Look at the beating they've been taking, saving the lives of these innocent spectators as the cars come crashing down at the finish. Energy, adrenaline, pumping these competitors into the final spin, and they just push their cars hurtling towards this barrier. Thank goodness they're here, saving lives here at Long Beach City College. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Dan. We're ready for the first women's semifinal. Esprit versus TNT. TNT in the white and black. Esprit in the pink and black.
TNT has a time that looks like it should be a winner, but let's see.
Esprit in the right lane falls behind as TNT takes the lead. TNT looks in good shape.
Yes, they do. Make nice control turns.
Looks like Esprit's going to have to gamble down the rest of the way. They need to catch up.
Well, they're gambling on their turns. They just lost a pusher.
Well, that's exactly what happens when you gamble. Meanwhile, TNT cruising on their way to what appears to be a victory and a trip to the finals.
Esprit had to go for it. I admire the courage.
Well, just a moment earlier, I said that Esprit was going to have to gamble to get back into the race, and indeed they did, and they lost one of their pushers.
We have a situation where the pusher falls off, but she had the presence of mind to hop up, cut across the course, and pick her team back up.
We'll go ahead and take a look at it again. This was really an important part of the race right here.
Esprit was making a challenge here, but now Marca, one of their drivers, is the rider's coming out. She falls down. You lose her in the background. You'll see her pass behind the tree. She's going to rejoin her team.
Let's go to the men's semifinal. The important thing about that is that the Esprit team had the inside lane on the rest of the race.
Yes.
Network versus Tong now. Tong smoothly through the first change. Tong goes into Network's lane. Network has the inside lane now. They'll have the outside for the rest of the way. Tong, Network catches up. The final turn. Tong has the inside lane, makes a nice move in the final change zone.
Very good race. Very good race, all teams.
Tong advances.
That's the strongest Network team that they've had in the race. Very good. Good sportsmanship at the end of the race.
Tong now in the finals. Time now for the final women's semifinal. Entre Nous versus Striving Artist. Striving Artist in the right lane. Entre Nous in the left.
Striving Artist has been a real survivor to be here.
Striving Artist has been averaging times in the 49-second zone. Other teams have been in the low 30s, but they have managed to advance, but I don't think they'll advance any further. Entre Nous just too tough.
Yes, Entre Nous, they've been in this race a lot of times. They understand. The strategy gets passed down from club member to club member.
Well, Entre Nous going with the strategy, you can't win if you don't finish, and they do, not in a spectacular time, but well ahead of the Striving Artist. And our women's final is set. It'll be Entre Nous, last year's champion, going against TNT.
That's a classic matchup.
Now for the final men's semifinal, Thor versus JX with a chance to face Tong in the finals.
Thor on the left. Thor's on the right lane. Oh, there's even. Two very good.
JX looking for a chance to defend their, or at least recapture the title they lost last year.
Thor has that inside lane, however. He'll come out close.
Going to go down to the stretch. JX gets cut off. Thor, upset winner in the semis. What a finish for Thor. And they come from behind to defeat JX. JX, which had won it 3 years in a row, will not make it to the finals.
Look at that turn. That's an athletic move right there. Down low.
Look how far JX is ahead at this time.
That's right. They're out of the change zone before Thor's in, but Thor has that inside lane. It's deceiving. If they can stay tough on that inside tight turn, they're good.
We go now to the finals of the women's division. TNT versus Entre Nous, a classic matchup. Entre Nous, last year's champ.
Well, these two teams have met in the finals many, many times.
TNT advanced with a time of 34.1 seconds, one of the best times on the day, if not the best. In fact, the best time was turned in by TNT. Entre Nous turned in the second best time earlier in the racing.
They finished their good sportsmanship AWS hugs, and now they are ready to tear each other's hair out.
TNT on the left, Entre Nous on the right. We hope something that'll match up to be a classic. As we mentioned, Entre Nous, a winner last year, and they're trying to make it 2 years in a row.
Here we go. Even into that first turn. Oh!
Big problem for Entre Nous.
TNT, that takes the pressure off.
Entre Nous with big problems in the first turn. That opens the door for TNT to go the distance.
TNT is going to be able to just take it easy.
Got a feel for the Entre Nous team, last year's champ. They didn't even get a chance to defend it. After the first change zone, they were gone.
Worked that hard to get that far. It is disappointing, but it's a real good feeling for that winning team. TNT, congratulations.
TNT with the victory as they win it over Entre Nous, and the key to the race was that first change zone.
Here we come into that first change zone, and we see that Entre Nous just veers right, and that's where the race ends for all intents and purposes. Boy, bodies are flying.
TNT wins it with a time of 34.28. Let's go down to Dan with the winning team.
Well, here we are, Willie and Chuck, down at the finish line. TNT victorious. Excellent race. Excellent race. A lot of people had trouble with our sharp turn. How were you guys able to handle it so well?
We're okay with this one, but that one over there kind of got us once in a while.
Yeah, but you hung on and you did a good job. How was the race course today? Good track? Okay?
Yeah.
How do you feel? Yeah. All right, well, congratulations to you guys. Excellent. Back to you, TNT, women's finalists, winners.
Thank you very much, Dan. The winning team from TNT, the manager, Vicki Davis, the racers, Kerry Berman, Tracy Booth, Tracy Weber, and Sandra Good. Time now for the men's final. Tong on the left, Thor on the right.
Willie, Thor is a club that has really come up in the last year. Been in the program for about 10 years. But they've started to really take over some control in that men's program.
Tong, last year's champion, hoping they have better luck than the women's champion of 1990, Entre Nous, did in their final race. And as you mentioned, Chuck, the teams, the service organizations, they are the strong teams when it comes to an event like this.
Well, I think it's just like fraternities having test files. You get to go back and check things out. You know, here, they ask each other what works, and they learn through the years.
It looked like Thor changed a little bit early. They have the lead. Tong with the inside retakes the lead. Another change zone. Thor, picture perfect, as is Tong. Oh, Thor has problems. Tong's going to win it.
That's been a good year for Tong.
Thor thought they had it in the final turn. They were catching up to Tong. Thor has some problems, and Tong wins it.
Up to this point, a great race. Thor in a position to challenge, crash into those bales. And Tong comes out of it, able to coast home with a win.
Thor thought they had a chance. They had the inside lane the rest of the way. However, Tong wins it after Thor goes down in a sizzling time of 25.97 seconds. Well, Dan standing by with the winning team from Tong. Dan?
Hey, we're at the finish line with a very excited Tong team. Congratulations. Record time. You guys are the fastest time in the whole race. Wow, that's very exciting. This is what's left of their race car after this exciting race. Nice work. Nice work. Listen, a lot of people had trouble with the turns. You guys made those changes. You guys got to go practice a lot.
Yeah, we got here last over here for about 3 hours last last night, working hard on those turns.
And it seems like the other Tong car, that was good competition. You raced against them all night, is that what you did?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, hard work and dedication paid off. That's all there is to it.
Yes, and forget the homework. They were here 3 hours last night practicing
Thanks, Dan. The Tong team that wins it, manager Burton Long, Jeff Dunham, Larry Crescilius, Andy Dale are the riders. What an effort by Tong. Also a great effort by TNT. Once again, the Long Beach City College Mini Grand Prix was a success, Chuck.
It sure was. Didn't hurt Tong to have Andy Dale, our college quarter miler, fastest in the school on that team. I'm sure they appreciate him being a member. There's SC Notre Dame games, there's SC UCLA games, but Long Beach City College doesn't get any more exciting, more fun, more enthusiasm than this activity.
Some people we want to thank before we go away. Tony Lippold, the Associate Men's Student Advisor, for all his help. The Media Services Department here at Long Beach City College, Al Haywood in charge. The Long Beach City College Alumni Association. Also want to thank Isabel Patterson, the Grand Marshal, Larry Boland from Toyota, and Brett Lewis from KNBC Sports. Well, that'll do it from Long Beach City College. The Mini Grand Prix, once again a success. The winners for the women, TNT. For the men, it is Tong. I'm Willie Padilla. For Chuck McFerrin, for Dan Reddington. For the rest, Long Beach City College Media Services crew. For Steve Clayton, our producer and director, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Long Beach City College Sports.